Hi, my name is Sophia Mesri, and today I'll be making you aware of the reality that is the pet breeding industry. I worked at the San Diego Humane Society, so I've seen firsthand how many animals can never find a home. I'll never forget this one dog, Brandy. She was the sweetest dog, an amazing walker, but she was a pit bull, and she had a problem with jumping up at the door and scratching when people walked by. In the 4 months I worked there, she never found a home. I still check the blog to see if she found her forever family, but unfortunately, she is still sitting in that cold, dark, scary room waiting for someone to come by. Fortunately, the shelter I worked at had a no-kill policy, so Brandy is still alive. But in the majority of cases, these dogs will be euthanized in order to make room for the next. Every year, 27 million dogs are born healthy. 4 million of them will be put down just because they cannot find homes. Even more of them will die due to improper breeding in the pet breeding industry. Today I'll be making you aware of the reality of the pet breeding industry and inform you on the things you can do to drive local pet breeders out of business. I'll also be informing you on what our goals should be for future policies. Most of us have a furry friend at home that we consider family. Now imagine that you didn't get to them in time, that they're put down due to overcrowded spaces in shelters. This is a very true and sad circumstance in many situations. So many dogs are put down and never get to find their forever family. Is there something we can do about this? Yes. Pet breeders continue to contribute to this issue as they continue to increase the number of animals that cannot find a home. It is quite impossible for shelters to combat this issue as pet breeders continue to produce more animals. According to Sentiment.org, puppy mills alone produce 2 million puppies per year. To help decrease the number of pets unable to find a home and being euthanized, we should drive local pet breeders out of business. There should also be more regulation on how many animals each breeder can produce and how safe it is being done. As an animal science major, I feel it is my duty to protect animals. I also feel it is my job to inform you that you may be encouraging the pet breeding industry and major contributors to pets being euthanized. By purchasing from pet breeders, you are supporting their business. Pet breeders continue to contribute to the number of animals unable to find a home and lure people away from the adoption process of saving a life at the shelter. The shelter system and pet breeding industry causes countless innocent animals to suffer each year. Many dogs and cats spend their lives in shelters waiting to be adopted, only to be euthanized. Pet breeders not only lure people away from the adoption process, but continue to contribute substantially to the population of dogs and cats on the street. We must drive local pet breeders out of business and attempt to regulate the industry by making our voice heard through social media, campaigns, and protests. Many people who support local pet breeders love the word purebred. They spend vast amounts of money to ensure that their pet is one specific breed and nothing else. However, a pet is not a trophy, not something you're proud of for collecting. They're a companion. Not to mention the multiple dangers of pet breeding. Pet breeding is an industry created in the interest of money, not in the best interest of the health of the animal. So often the animal's health is neglected. This is very evident in many species created by the pet breeding industry. For example, the Scottish Fold. The Scottish Fold is probably a cat most of you have seen on social media or have heard of. They're the ones with the little ears that fold on top of themselves. Well, this happens because the cartilage is so weak in the cats that their ears fold on top of their own weight. But cartilage is in every tendon in the body. So these cats often get very painful and debilitating arthritis. They're often put down because they can't even walk and spend their little life that they can live in much pain. We are basically purposely breeding this condition into these cats because they're cute. This goes to show that pet breeders have no no regard for the animal's health to an extreme extent. According to OVRS.com, purebreds often run a higher risk for genetic disease and are considered less sturdy than mutts. This is because the mixed genetics in mutts increases the effectiveness of their immune system. The mixed genetics often makes them stronger against a variety of infectious diseases. Also, ironically, according to the Humane Society, an estimated 25% of dogs at the shelter are purebred. So you don't even have to go to pet breeders and these crazy means to find a purebred animal. Another argument of people who buy from pet breeders say, well, I'm not contributing to the problem because my breeder is reputable and responsible. However, there is still a huge problem. There is still a huge wealth of animals on the street. There are 70 million cats and dogs on the streets. Still, only 20% of people buy from shelters. This is because 80% of people are still buying from pet breeders. Another fact is that breeding is dangerous no matter how reputable breeders are. Some breeders are dangerous as a whole, and in other cases, animals that are bred often have a weak immune system due to lack of genetic diversity. Also, just because a breeder claims they're reputable doesn't make it true. In AKG's inspection program, they found that certified breeders still subjected their dogs to conditions similar to puppy mills. Another argument of people who support pet breeders is that they buy from pet breeders to ensure that they know their pet's history and health background. But breeders often are very misleading in the information they provide about their animals. A breeder will advertise that their dog is 100% purebred when this is not necessarily true. This is because breeders are not only breeders, but advertisers. They're trying to get you to purchase their animal. If the breeder is not registered, there's no consequence for lying. So it is very often in the pet breeding industry. It is very common for breeders to lie about their animals to get them sold. Very common lies seen in the pet breeding industry include that you can't find this puppy in a shelter, which is a lie. As I said, 25% of animals in a shelter are purebred. Another lie that pet breeders often say is that their pet's health is guaranteed, which is often not true because the conditions in these pet breeding industries are not optimal for the animals, so often their health is not at the best it can be. So what is the solution to this problem? While placing a ban on the pet breeding industry as a whole is out of the picture at this time, we must set up regulation to make the pet breeding industry as safe as we can. There should be regulation limiting the number of breeding females in a facility. There should also be required socialization and better conditions for these animals. There should also be a one-strike policy for serious offenses to ensure that breeders are really following these policies. I believe the first step to making a change is finding like-minded people and creating an organization. We should create one big voice because we can get a lot more done in numbers. This will be easy today with social media and such. Today I have informed you on why pet breeding industry is unethical and should be ruled out. I went over how the pet breeding industry continues to contribute to the number of animals that need a home, creates unhealthy breeds, and can be dangerous no matter the precautions taken, and is often misleading. At this time, ruling out breeding completely may be out of the question, so for now we must set up heavier regulations to ensure that those who are breeding are doing so safely and not excessively. It should be encouraged for more people to go to the shelters and find pets, and we should educate ourselves on the truth of the breeding industry. Pet breeding should be driven out of practice, and more policies should be created. It is our responsibility as people to protect these innocent animals who cannot speak up for themselves. Running pet breeders out of business will not only decrease the number of animals suffering, but will also decrease the number of animals unable to find a home and who are put down each year. Thank you for listening.